Hi, I'm Heather, and I did my research project on nitrate contamination in Wisconsin's drinking water. Wisconsin is abundant in groundwater, but unfortunately, much of that water is contaminated with nitrate nitrogen. Nitrate is the most common groundwater contaminant in Wisconsin, and over two-thirds of Wisconsin residents use it as drinking water. It's estimated that 10% of private wells in Wisconsin exceed the safety limit for nitrate contamination. Because of the heavy use of nitrogen fertilizer, Wisconsin sees large amounts of contamination in agricultural areas. It's estimated that up to 90% of nitrate contamination is from agricultural sources, especially in southern Wisconsin. In this research paper, I will go over how nitrate gets into the groundwater, the adverse health effects and medical costs, the environmental effects, and the solutions to decrease nitrate contamination. The topic of my research paper is nitrate contamination in Wisconsin's groundwater. I focused on how nitrate gets into groundwater and from what sources. I wanted to learn what sources contribute most to nitrate contamination. Being that Wisconsin is a heavily agricultural state, I looked into how that adds to nitrate contamination in groundwater and what areas are most affected. From there, I looked at the adverse health effects drinking nitrate-contaminated water has on humans and animals. I researched how severe nitrate poisoning was and who was most likely to be affected. I also looked at medical costs relating to these adverse health effects. I looked at the environmental impact of nitrate contamination as well. Whether nitrate contamination in groundwater was increasing or decreasing was also something I wanted to know. To set out to address my research question, I looked up information on nitrate contamination on Google Scholar, the McIntyre Library, and the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. From there I found many studies that had previously been done on nitrate contamination in groundwater. The study I did my literature review of is Health and Economic Impact of Nitrate Pollution in Drinking Water, a Wisconsin Case Study, by Mathewson. In his study, much of his analysis is based on nitrate test results from community and private wells. The test data for this study, as well as many other studies I looked at, was from the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources Drinking Water Portal. Community wells have standardized testing. Private wells aren't required to have standardized testing, only if a new well is built or an existing well requires maintenance. Mathewson also figured the number of medical conditions linked to nitrate and estimated the cost for each. Using data from these studies and from the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, I put it into my paper. The results from my research were that nitrate contamination continues to be an issue in Wisconsin, and the contamination rates are rising. It's estimated that 10% of private wells in Wisconsin exceed the standard of 10 milligrams of nitrate in their water. In agricultural areas, this number increases to 20%. Because there are more agricultural areas in south and central Wisconsin, nitrate contamination is most prominent there. The sandy soils in this area also make it more susceptible to nitrate going into the groundwater. Nitrate poisoning is especially dangerous to infants and pregnant women. It can cause a rare condition in infants called methemoglobinemia, or baby blue syndrome. This syndrome interferes with the blood's ability to carry oxygen, and although rare, it can result in brain damage or death. It can also cause birth defects like neural tube defects and cleft palates. Certain cancers are also linked to nitrate-contaminated water, like colorectal, ovarian, thyroid, bladder, and kidney cancer. In Wisconsin, the medical cost is $23 million to $80 million annually. Nitrate also affects the environment and promotes weed and algae growth in lakes. Even low amounts of nitrate can kill certain fish eggs. From the evidence gathered, it's clear nitrate contamination of groundwater is a serious issue with many health and environmental ramifications. This is concerning given that most Wisconsin residents use private wells for their drinking water. Given the severity of nitrate contamination in drinking water, it's important to continue to decrease contamination for the health and well-being of both the people and the environment of Wisconsin. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources has laid out some steps that have been taken to lower nitrate contamination levels. Newly constructed wells should be sampled for nitrate, and current wells with nitrate contamination should either treat the water or rebuild the well completely. To get more accurate data on the trend of nitrate contamination, private wells need to be tested regularly. This project was very insightful in learning about the nitrate contamination in drinking water and its consequences. If I had more time, I would have taken more time to better understand how studies are carried out. Not being a geology major, it could sometimes be a little hard to understand their methodology. In the future, I will benefit from knowing about Wisconsin's most common groundwater contaminant by being more aware of the other environmental hazards in the future.